Okay, before we go ahead and dive in to the steps and the process around risk assessment, let's just answer a couple of fundamental questions first. The first one of those is, what is a risk assessment? Well, we already know that it's really important to understand which activities within your work could potentially affect the health and safety of both you and of those around you. And a risk assessment is just a structured way of allowing you to figure out what it is within those work activities that may cause harm. There are plenty of misconceptions when it comes to risk assessment, but contrary to what many believe, they don't need to be overly complicated or very time consuming. In fact, the more simple you can make it, the more effective it usually is. Also, you don't need to have a special safety qualification or be a safety expert to carry one out. In fact, once you get started, you'll probably find that you know a lot more than you think you do. And even if you don't, if you still have questions, there should be someone or people within your business that will be able to help you. With all that said, you will need to be prepared to dive into the detail around the significant risks involved with the activities that your business is either planning to do or is currently doing. And once you're able to do that, that will put you in a good position to be able to determine whether or not extra control measures need to be put in place or if action needs to be taken. It is also worth remembering that very often you won't need to put extra control measures in place if the risks are already controlled sufficiently. The running joke is that health and safety professionals try to risk assess absolutely everything, and sometimes that's true. But regardless of the legal obligations or the potential financial damage to your business if things do go wrong, what other reasons are there for doing a risk assessment? Hold on a minute. Well, would it be reasonable to expect someone to come into the workplace if I, their colleague or their boss, had no consideration for their health, well-being, or if their life was put in danger, that we give no consideration to that fact? I would sincerely hope not, but it does happen. The fact that you're going through the process of learning about risk assessment is part of a wider picture for health and safety to be improved within the business you're working in, and that will lead to much better outcomes in the long term. The last question we want to address here is, when should we actually do a risk assessment? Well, it's something that's very often asked, but unfortunately there isn't one clear correct answer. As you can imagine, there's lots of variables that influence when you should actually do a risk assessment. Things like the local laws and regulations, your business operations, the sector you're operating in, and of course the people involved. Those are just some of the things that influence in determining when you should carry out a risk assessment. But don't worry too much. When we go through the risk assessment 5-step process, you will find out a lot more about deciding when is appropriate to record and review risk assessments.